are an experiment. Is an election or an experiment? While mainstream mayonnaise media have sunk to new lows to get Black people involved in a process that has never collectively benefited them, more questions have been raised than answers given. Question: what is the difference between now and 2020? In 2020, Kamala Harris was up for the Democratic nominee and Trump was running against her. At that time, Kamala only was able to garner 8% of Black voter support. Fast forward to 2024, and even after declaring she will do nothing specifically for Black people, it seems like she has way more Black people ready to vote for her. But what has changed? There is one huge difference between now and then that nobody is talking about. They're scared to talk about this, and that's the pandemic, specifically the vaccination. Did the vax alter the melanated mind? Tonight, what the news has brought up is tons of statistics, but they never tell you that nearly 100% of potential Kamala voters and Democratic supporters are vaccinated. Why don't they ever talk about that? Well, tonight we're going to be talking to Sunday Gray, and he's going to be talking about his awesome group, V.E.N-JAH'S, the Green Album, and so much more. Can an injection affect an election? Serious question. We're asking that tonight with Sunday Gray of V.E.N-JAH'S. You guys tune in, but you're not going to see this on Instagram. You're not going to see this on Facebook. You're not going to see this on YouTube. You got to tune in to TwoRawForTV.tv right now, because the revolution will not be televised. Tune in right now. It's TwoRawForTV.tv. So we're talking to the one and only Sunday Gray. He needs no introduction, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Son, can you tell him a little bit about yourself? Let him introduce yourself to Robert T. fam.
First of all, salute to my people out there. I'm Sunday Great. Sundiata, for those who know me from back in the day. Sundiata the Great, short and the Sunday Great. I'm a founding member of the V.E.N.JAH'S, Victoria's Elevated Natures, JAH'S children, on a mission to keep the culture proper and bring in what we need to keep, the balance in music and the balance in understanding what the culture of the people are, where we come from, Africa and the planet, and just keep a high vibe and protection and provision through motivational vocal expressions. I'm one of many artists who are solo artists, came together as a collective, and we're not really a group. We are a collective because we're a mission and we're interchangeable parts. You know what I mean? So I'm here with Palmetto and Dre, and Too Raw for TV has been giving you the raw truth. So, I got to represent. Shout out to my man Don. Shout out to Don Truth. TruthHipHop.com. I mean, he's a big supporter of the V.E.N.JAH'S, plays our music, and if you are a quality person with some information in your music and you got skills, you need to go to truthhiphop.com, speak to Don, holla at him. I got to do that. Shout out. That's my sponsor. You know what I mean? For real. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here and happy to be in this conversation with people who can take the conversation, you know what I'm saying, expand on it, and not be afraid to run away from the truth. You know what I mean? We're all right. The people with the vaccines are transhumans. You're not even human anymore. You're owned by the government. You probably don't even know your thought pattern is their thought pattern. You don't even know what's going on. And most of us got them in our family. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare, you know what I mean, that you run into a person who says, no, I'm not vaxxed, because they were scared. We didn't deal with fear like that. Right. So we're not dealing with fear like that right now, with you trying to tell us one is better than the other when they both are the same bird on the wing and they both have done us dirty, filthy even.
Really,
You know what I'm saying?
that's what
So,
I'm talking about, because that's the trick bag that they put black people in. It's like, if you reveal the truth about the Democrats who started the KKK party, who
right,
honorary members of the Ku Klux Klan, like Margaret Sanger, they had a mobile abortion clinic, in front of the DNC. And also, if most black people have not realized that the DNC has completely um, pushed the goalpost as far as their values. So now, if you are a blue-hearted Democrat, you had to believe in child mutilation. You had to believe in LGBTQ education to children. You had to believe in murder, because you got to remember, a lot of these Democrats were disappointed when Trump didn't die, which I don't like Trump either. It's FDJT too, but I don't care to see a bullet in his head. You know what I'm saying? But these people are really like pro murder. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be pro murder. You got to be um, pro child mutilation. That's trans children and all of this stuff. They could tell you what to do with your child, make your black boy into a sex toy, and then you got to be fine with like these cross dressers teaching your children LGBTQ education and the assortment of that, along with many other things. So the values that the DNC supposedly were perpetuating at one point, that were in sync with black people, are no more. That's their whole thing has changed, and black people are just riding along with them. Okay, so you agree with this and agree with that and agree with this, and like you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's the sort of sickness that's in there. You know what I'm saying? They're having straight up child sacrifice rituals in front of the DNC.
right,
Just let's
right.
call it what it is. They could have had anything that supported um, leftist sort of thought. They could have had someone with the edibles table out there. You know what I'm saying? Someone serving edibles. They're all about legalizing marijuana and stuff like that. They could have had someone with that. Instead, you're going to have a mobile abortion clinic. What's your thoughts on
Mm.
that, son?
Well, a bloodletting is a bloodletting, and a sacrifice is needed. First of all, Rome has never stopped being in control. So this is Roman rule. This is what they did in Rome. You know what I'm saying? There's no difference in the slave aspect, enslavement of the mind and enslavement of the people from now to then. The freedoms that you think you have, you got to go get a license to do shit. So you're not free right off the bat.
Hmm.
But the DNC, like you said, started a lot of racist commentary, the lynchings, like all of this aspect they talk about, giving her all this money, giving EME and supporting them, but they haven't been able to give reparations. They just gave $1 trillion over here, but your DNC people said no to the reparations. Your people said it. See, my whole thing is revolt or die, because they've been killing you anyhow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you don't jump in on the other side and you were like, no, I'm here with this. Come on, man. Like, this system is already messed up, broke down. We already see what it is. We know what it is. You've been knowing it. We've been having this conversation really for the last 20 years, really, about how they
Facts.
haven't been in support. And every time an election comes up, it's like black people in the hood, if they use Tide and you bring something better, that's better, more economic form, that's better for their health and all that. No, my mama used Tide. I'm using Tide. But Tide is killing
Right.
you. It's breaking your skin out, you know what I mean? No, but my mama did it. You know what I mean? The hair. You know what I mean? Look at the hair. You're putting the hair in the head that's not even synthetic. It's seeping into the pores. It's doing all kind of stuff. But my mama did it for me when I was a kid, so I'm gonna keep doing it. There's no aspect of change or development outside of what you've invested in. And I believe, and not even believe, I don't believe anything. I know that people are more invested in the system than they even want to admit. And because of that investment, they're afraid to go against the groupthink. And the Democratic Party is big groupthink. Big groupthink. And if you do any psychological studies on groupthink, I mean, because we're behind enemy lines, that means everybody in support of that is in Stockholm Central right now. They have now gotten you to agree to the things that they wanted to do to you 60 to 100 years ago, and now you're pushing it, and they ain't got to do nothing. In the same aspect of there's black folk out here killing each other, and Klan ain't got to do nothing. Ain't got to lynch us like that no more, because we doing it to ourselves. Well, it's the same aspect if you supporting either the Republicans or the Democrats. You're doing it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, please. I'm it's almost like you're saying, I know I'm not supposed to be here and you're not supposed to be doing this, but I like the crumbs that I'm getting enough that even though I know it's not gonna satisfy my life, I'll take the crumbs because we didn't have anything before. When we owned the planet, we created the system that they jacked, usurped, and misused just like magic. You know what I'm saying? The aspect of everything that we've done that is dealing with nature and trying to put things in the way, like for instance, Mayat, and everything that you look at in Mayat, the DNC go against that. So if we dealing with universal understanding of who we are spiritually, so mentally, we can really have a sovereignty over our own personal rule, and then treat each other with respect like the universe and nature wants us to do. You mean we don't need this particular party or that particular party. Shit, we don't even need the government as it is. We are governing ourselves with righteousness and properness and with purpose. But we've lost our purpose, lost our goal, and we're stuck on a savior mentality, which is why now it's cool for them to say she's all right. That's who we're going for, because that's the next. I mean, that's how Biden got in there in the first place. Because the black women who I love you, black women, I love you. I get it. You're emotionally, have been tampered with 400 years. We had to sit back and watch you go through rape and your children being snatched from you. And as the black men, we couldn't do nothing, or we didn't do nothing. And when we did, we either fought and fought valiantly and got killed, or you lost us. So you trained all your children, your sons especially, to just go along to get along. But it's time for that to stop and understand what you've been watching and what you've been adding to has been the destruction of the future you think you're saving your child for. And you're going in with a person who says she doesn't care anything about you, but she's neck and neck, hand in hand with both the Indian and the white person.
Right, true indeed. Because we got to break down. We got to break down really who this person is. Like this is not like I've been trying to explain to people. Kamala Harris is the most high-profile Brahmin Indian to masquerade as a black person, and she's the most high profile, but it is almost traditional in that region to get the perks of black people, go to these HBCUs, do these black things, and sort of camouflage themselves in there because they know they can do that, because they have a darker skin. But who are the Brahmin Indians? The Brahmin Indians are the ones that created the caste system, the precursor to what we call white supremacy. what happens is the racial hierarchy here in America, where you have the pale male on top and the black man at the bottom. So the Brahmin Indian are the people that created the original caste system. And so this is, and also they come from a slave owning family. That's why it gets me. It's like I see people that, and I'm gonna speak on some real stuff. I know I got a lot of people out here, but I see people that claim to be abolitionists supporting somebody that has slave owning heritage. How can you have a slave owning heritage and also be a black person at all? I mean, we got slaves in our families. They got slave owners in their families. We are not the same.
Right.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you're on here, you got to go to TwoRoverTV.tv right now. We got to see this live. Go ahead, check it out, 2OverTV. While you're there, get a ticket to the Conscious Cipher and watch this live October 5th and 6th in Atlanta. The revolution will not be televised. 2OverTV.
Yeah.
So we're going in tonight about this. What were you saying, son?
No, I was saying I have that conversation with people too about, you know what I mean, that's a slave owning family here. No matter where it's in Jamaica, whatever, they own slaves. What are you talking about? Why are we even having a conversation after you find that out? Why is it? Well, I don't care. She's a black. No, she's not. And to your point that you were saying before, the Brahmin Indians that go in, who's in our communities in every store, 7-Eleven? You know what I'm saying? If it ain't the restaurant with the Asians, who's owning the hotels, the gas stations, the corner stores? Who's in the stores? They in the stores. They know what it is. We the cash cow. You know what I'm saying? And they collecting the cash. That's what it is. And this just goes right alongside what it was. Didn't she grow up in Oakland or something? Did she grow up in the West Coast?
No, she grew up in Canada. She grew up in Canada. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
So, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She falsified her whole thing, but that's not even a anomaly in that community.
Right.
That is something that is almost traditional. You know what I'm saying? Please read the book Almost Black, where another Indian of the same tribe does the same thing and goes and gets a scholarship, shaves his head, goes and gets a black scholarship because he says he's black, and he is all the way Indian, and now he's over there laughing at black people, basically just he's laughing that he got the scholarship and all that. Read the book Almost Black. This is, and it's confusing to black people because they have been subdued. Let's keep it a buck, son. Let's keep it a buck, son. Black people right now have been 100% subdued. They're subdued by the foods that they eat. They're subdued by the music that they listen to. And they're subdued by the vaccines. They're subdued by the vaccines. Like we can't throw that out the mix. We can't take that out the equation. Because there's a person right here that y'all didn't support at all in 2020. Didn't support at all. Y'all called her a fake. Y'all saw that she wasn't black. Y'all scams, the scamala. Y'all saw the deceit. Y'all saw all that. But now in 2024, it's I'm with her. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, because what's the difference between 2020 and 2024? There's only one difference that I can think of, a significant difference that has happened to black people between that time, and that is the vaccination. And you can't discount this.
I agree, and everybody, Everybody who knows somebody who got the vaccine, and say you didn't get the vaccine, everybody I know who got the vaccine is different. They're different. Something is different about it. You know what I mean? The fact is that they allow fear to make them put something that they didn't know what was in them, and they trusted the people who did Tuskegee experiment for 40 years and do all kind of stuff to you from the door. They're giving you, like you said, the food that they're giving you and pushing you. FDA ain't even it's not even a government company, but these cats get paid to say something is okay and something is not. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the foods that you eat here in America, they ban them overseas.
Right.
You're not even allowed to have that. Some you can't even eat bread.
Because
the bread
soda,
ain't bread.
There you go. He took the words out right
so
out of my mouth.
If they're gonna do that to you right now with the food, that's your livelihood. Food, clothes, and shelter is what they tell you. It's for me, it's air, water, and love. But they tell you food, clothes, and shelter. The first thing is food, and they're giving you food to kill you. Just keep you alive long enough to go to work and produce something for them. You know what I'm saying? And you're cool with that. Well, we got to get somebody in there. It can't be Trump. On some real, you should have let Trump in there. You should have just left him alone. He wouldn't be here right now if you would have left him alone. It wasn't going to get worse. It was already bad. And he was no more racist than every other president that ever came up, including Obama. I mean, the difference is he was a New York cracker nigga. And that's the difference. He was a New York cracker nigga. Now, I ain't in support of him this way, that way, and the third. But I am saying, if you've been alive long enough, you know you let him stay in there for 8 years, no matter who the president. Shit, Bush Jr. was dumber than he was. But and he gave you some money. At least he gave you money. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if she wins in their whatever they plan on, if she wins, you see what they did when they lost the vote last time, right? That's just losing the vote last time. This time, you got a black woman in there in their mind, and then they'll tell you that she ain't black, but you got a woman in there, they're gonna act off the wall. This is what they do. Right. Historically, European Americans, who are now called Americans, are very violent and volatile. They're going to act up. When they win a game, they have the same response as if we were unhappy and something happened to us. They turn cars over, they set things on fire, and that's when they win.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen when they lose again? Really the same reason they lost last time.
Oh, I want you to hold that thought, son, because we're going in tonight. You guys call in 516-453-9174. I do see all the callers on the line. I promise you I'm going to get to you guys. You guys hold on the line. I do want to play that first clip. Son, hit me up with that song that you want to play again, because I'm going to play that later. But you guys go ahead. We're going to play that first clip and set the tone, because is this an election or an experiment? Only time will tell. But we're telling it right now on 2rawovertv.tv. Stay.
For the last week, we've been told to shut up and vote for Kamala because she's black.
Protect her. We have to protect her.
Instead of looking at her policies and what she's going to do for black Americans. Well, more and more people are starting to realize Kamala the cosplaying chameleon is not black American. She's a non-black American, Canadian Indian, Irish daddy born in Jamaica woman. And when she was elected to the Senate a couple of years before she ran for president, well, I don't have to tell you, here it is. I mean, look at this in 2016. They promoted her as Indian American, from American media all the way to India. Shout out to our brother Kwame Brown. He had Judge Joe Brown on. And all I gotta say is, it's the reason why they're trying to rush this woman through. You know, without people really knowing what she's about.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like this. Oh, we gotta go support the sister. We can get a black woman in the White. No, you're not getting one. Her daddy says his entire background is either Caucasian Irish or Caucasian Hindu. his Irish ancestors owned a bunch of slaves, and none of his ancestors were slaves. He has a grandmother who is a dark-skinned Hindu who was a house servant. So where does Kamala get her black ancestry, since her mother is classified as a Caucasian Tamil Hindu Brahmin caste person? They're dark-skinned, but they're known anthropologically as Indo-Aryans, I-N-D-O hyphen.
They keep telling us this woman is going to be the first black American female president. Not only is she not black American, but she came from an immigrant mother from India, and her father, born in Jamaica, is Irish and Indian. They've been getting over on us since 2020, telling us this woman was Jamaican. And of course, when people hear that, they automatically believe that her father is black. But no, her father is Indian and Irish. And he's very proud to be a descendant of an Irish slave master. There's a whole town named after this slave master in Jamaica. But they fool us because of her parents' skin color. They have brown skin, so we think they're black, when neither one of them are.
But Aryans look exactly like Kamala Harris. They're swarthy, dark-haired, dark-eyed, and they're classified as Caucasian. So she's got a Caucasian mother, Caucasian dad. Where the hell does she come in being black? And even if her great-grandmother was part black, that's still not enough to make her black in America. She'd still be a typical white person. You want to see what the deal is? If you're white and black, do they call you white? No. They call you black, or that other N-word. If you are Chinese and black, they don't call you Chinese, they call you black. But she's supposed to be Hindu and black, and what do they call her in her own community? Hindu. So, yeah, she's lying. She went all through California being district attorney of San Francisco, then she became attorney general for California. Asian, that's classified as Asian. Hindu, that's from India. Asian Hindu, all through California, now she's black. She went to Howard, yes. She's an AKA, yes, but that doesn't make her black. She grew up in Canada. Her yearbook that you can find online if you want to go spend the time looking it up, in which she published when she had some things going on in California, it says she went from kindergarten through 12th grade in Canada. She lied about being bused in elementary school because she never went to elementary school in San Francisco.
And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Biden turned and looked at her like, who? Well, Kamala said it was her, but Judge Brown is saying she went to school in Canada K through 12.
We're going in tonight on TwoRollForTV.tv. And now you saw that, son. You saw what was happening. You saw how manipulative this person that is representing the Democrats is. And you saw Judge Joe Brown. Now, if you guys want to see more of Judge Joe Brown live, come to Atlanta on October 5th and 6th to the Conscious Cipher. We have the one and only V.E.N-JAH'S. They're going to be out there with Son the Great performing. You guys definitely want to be a part of that and see what Judge Joe Brown has to say live about Kamala and the voting process 1 month before the election in Atlanta. So we're going in tonight. Is it an election or an experiment? I do want to get to all the callers. So we have 9522. You're on the line with Two Roll for TV. VAXXED Confused. Is it an election or an experiment? What's your thoughts on that? $9522. Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear you. All right.
Yeah, y'all was going in, and you already know my first component. Of course, is the experiment. on either side. I mean, they got you duped if you're going for Trump. They got you duped if you're going for Kamala. Right now, if you ain't the original man, original woman, got the common sense knowledge of vote for your damn self and do for yourself. And I don't just mean selfishness. I mean like Elijah came with, like do for self, link up with other brothers and sisters, got trade, got knowledge of self, love of self, and get things on and popping. Really vote for yourself. You you a part of that experiment. It's all good. Just wake up out of that shit and get to the business with doing for self and love self. But I got a whole bunch of things going on, so I ain't gonna be too long. You already know my perspective on it, man. Salute you and the brother on the line, and keep doing what they do.
All right. That's what it is, man. I already know what this is, man. Hey, tell them where you come from, man.
That's South Cat, bro.
Hey, that's what it is, man. South Carolina, that's the metro. Tuning in, tap in to Prince Ty, Prince T, Turtle. So we going in tonight. We're asking the question: Is it an election, or is it an experiment? This is why it's an experiment. This is why it's an experiment, because we have somebody that nobody liked, right? Prior to her running the second time as a Democratic nominee, nobody liked her, right? Black people could see through the facade. They knew that she was disingenuous. They knew that she had locked up thousands of black men, even though that she claims to be some pillar of justice.